welcome back to Let's Talk Music. This episode is honestly one that was long overdue and is with someone who represents an organization that probably deserves a lot more attention than it gets currently, and is one that every musician should be well acquainted with. Established in 1969, IPRS is perhaps the oldest copyright society in India and is no stranger to the music industry. But given how unique India's entertainment industry has been, with the deep connections between the film industry and the music industry, IPRS has witnessed a lot of action in the last decade. Today, I have with me Miss Rumpa Banerjee, Head of Marketing, Communication and Member Relations at IPRS, who has very graciously agreed to do this episode with me despite her busy schedule. Welcome to Lex Talk Music, ma'am. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Sandha, and thank you for this wonderful introduction. Yes, you are very right. Like when you spoke about IPRS, it is a body which definitely needs lot more awareness. And as
Mm.
a creator, today IPRS is not an option. IPRS is a body where any creator has to join. They have to join a society for their rights management, for their royalty collections, and to give them the right credit and identity. So I'm very thankful to you for doing this, and as many ways we can build awareness about IPRS and rights management that will be beneficial for the creator
Right.
community in India.
Absolutely. Thank you
And
so much.
one more
So I
thing
think,
to add over here,
yeah,
Sandra, is that so IKR's is a very old organization. It will be completing 55 years this August,
right.
and it is the only copyright society. It's not just the oldest; it is the only copyright society in India representing the author, composers, and
Correct.
publisher.
Right. Understood. I think that's also, if I'm not mistaken, we have that requirement under law as well that you have only one copyright society per category. So I think IPRS has a lot on its plate to like handle and to deal with, which is I think going to be a large part of our conversation today. Okay, so I think I'd like to like kind of go right in and maybe start with basics, right? Like if you could explain the different kinds of royalties that are collected by IPRS on behalf of its members, and also kind of go into why it's important for an artist, especially for songwriters and also like publishers as well, right? Like, and I think you can probably like touch upon who are the kind of members you're dealing with. I think that would be very helpful because a lot of people are still, I think, kind of trying to kind of figure out what it is that IPRS does and why it's important for them to register. So we could start off with that.
Yeah, you're very right, Sandhya, and it's a wonderful question and a very important question also. See, so I remember talking to one of our very leading creator member.
Mhm.
Like he once mentioned that royalty. People
Mm.
think that royalty is something which is a favor being given to creators.
Hmm.
But royalty is not that. Royalty is
Yeah.
a right. It's a creator's right. And hence
Correct.
the copyright law of our country has made royalty right as an inalienable right. And the government of India has been very supportive in this area where they have looked into the challenges of a creator, because in India you have seen artists like author composers, they have always been part of a film industry, or they have worked with like business houses. Individually, they have
Yeah.
like never run the business of music. So they were
Yeah.
always a party to it. And there was always
Yeah.
a fear that these people are only creators, so they might
Yeah.
not be good enough to negotiate their rights.
Right.
And when there is like an assignment or a work coming to you, you are always at a kind of a space where you might say, okay, let me kind of sign off my royalty rights if I'm getting a work and I'm being paid
Yeah.
for it. So
Yeah.
because of that, when the 2012 amendment in the copyright law like happened, it made the royalty rights inalienable. So today, even if, as a
Mm.
creator, if I am signing off or I'm writing off my royalty rights on a stamp paper, in the code it
Mm.
is like treated as null and void. So the royalty money will directly go to the creator, author, composer. It cannot be routed through a third party. It will go directly to the author, composers, and nobody can
Mm.
deny the royalty rights. So now coming to the types of royalties which IPRS collects. So
Mm.
The royalty is collected based on the usage of the music. So there are two primary types of royalties that IPRS is currently collecting. One is the performing royalties. So
Yeah.
whenever the music is played in public. So what do you
Yeah.
mean by that? So starting from live event, which is very easy to like relate to, performances happening in front of your audience, public performance. So from live events, concerts to even a broadcaster. So when you're broadcasting music, it is going from one to many, or music playing on radio, or music playing even from the streaming like services.
Mm.
Everywhere your content is going out to the public to be consumed. So whenever there is a public performance of music happening, performing royalties are generated and those are routed back to the author composer through copyright societies like IPRS. There is one more very interesting thing because if you go back to 80s, 90s, or earlier to that, music
Yeah.
was distributed in kind of in CDs, cassettes, and other mediums, LPs where they
Correct.
would
Yeah.
track. So
Yeah.
for the music to be distributed, you needed to make multiple copies of a CD or a cassette. So when you're
Correct.
making multiple copies, the way when like for every copy sell of a book, you pay the
Yeah.
writer or the author. Similarly, for every copy of the series being sold, royalty
Mm.
was supposed to be paid to the author composer. So that is
Yes.
called reproduction right. So you're reproducing
Mm.
multiple copies. And
Correct.
when you're reproducing multiple copies, mechanical royalties are generated
Mechanical
because
royalties. Absolutely. Yeah.
but today there is no physical medium. But
Mm.
whenever you are consuming music through different platforms and mediums, you are
Mm.
copying the content, say on the cloud, on the
Mm.
server, or on a mobile device, or in
Correct.
the broadcaster servers and all. So because it
Yeah.
is getting copied and
Yeah.
multiple times it is getting copied into different mediums, hence
Mm.
every time your music is playing, commercially, mechanical royalties are also getting generated. So as a
Mm.
creator, when you join IPRS, you get
Mm.
the performing royalties for the song,
Yeah.
and for the same
Yeah.
song, you're also getting the mechanical royalty.
Mechanical royalties. Correct.
Yeah. So these are the two primary royalties that IPRS is collecting on behalf of the
Correct.
author composer. One more very interesting point, Sandhya, is that if you go abroad in UK or in US, there are
Yeah.
separate societies which collect mechanical royalties,
Ah,
like
yeah. I
MCC.
was just going to get to that. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, a copyright society like India, who are like are our counterparts there, they are primarily TROs because they are collecting the performing rights royalties.
Yeah.
So they are known as
Correct.
TRO. So either
Yeah.
you become separately, you have to become a member of a mechanical like royalty collection body,
Correct. Mm.
right? Or
Yeah.
yeah. But in India, it is not that. Here in India, IPRS
Yeah.
is collecting both the mechanical and the performance. So you need not go to like different people to collect the
Different.
different royalties. Yeah.
Understood. I had one related question here. So this is also like I think a lot of artists have also had this question. So there was this understanding that when you're registering with IPRS, you have to register with IPRS twice. Do you have to register in the capacity as a songwriter as well as a publisher? Only then will you be able to collect mechanical royalties. Or say, for example, I'm an artist and I don't have a publisher, so I'm registered with IPRS only as a songwriter. In which case, do I still have access to mechanical royalties, or do I have to register with IPRS again as a publisher with a separate PAN card and identity, and then collect mechanical royalties?
Uh, yes, good that you asked me this question because so
Yeah,
when I'm hearing your question, I could relate from where it got generated, this kind of
yeah, yeah,
assumption. Because see,
yeah,
in the West, the
yeah.
100% of the mechanical royalties are paid to the publisher.
Correct.
And then it is up to the publisher whether they will kind of share the mechanical royalty with the author composer or not. But there is no
Exactly.
control
Yeah.
of the collection society or the collective to decide whether the mechanical royalty is going to the author composer or not because as per their law and their process of working,
Yeah.
100% mechanical royalty goes directly to the publisher from
Publisher.
the
Okay.
society or the body.
Yeah.
So hence this kind of doubt came in the mind of the creators who spoke to you that in
Mm,
IPRS, will the mechanical royalty come to me only in the identity of a publisher?
mm.
No, it is not like that in India. Uh,
Okay.
as per the copyright law, again in India, the mechanical royalty, 50% of the royalty is is kind of entitled to the author composer.
Performance and mechanical, you're saying.
Mechanical both. Yeah. In
Okay,
West,
that's
50%
that's
split
great.
for the performance royalty, but in India, 50% split is also prevalent for the mechanical royalty.
Okay, this is great
So
because
today,
this is very
yeah.
useful information. Yeah.
So today, if you're an author composer and you join IPRs, for every song that is being commercially exploited, if you see the royalty statement, you will find
Yeah.
50% of your mechanical and performing royalties are coming to you.
Okay. Understood.
So you need not join as a publisher, but yes, you will join as a publisher in case of independent artists. Because
Correct.
here
Okay.
you're holding the ownership rights of the content also. You're a publisher in yourself because you have not given the rights to any third party or any other body.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. To
Okay.
get the remaining 50%, the
Hmm.
publisher's share, you are joining as a publisher member in IPRS.
Got it. And for that, I think you need to have a separate PAN card, if I'm not mistaken, like a PAN number.
So not a PAN card, you can have a UTM Aadhaar.
Okay.
Because if you're a proprietor, you are having the same
Mm.
PAN card for both the
Yeah.
identities of the author and the
Exactly.
publisher.
Yeah.
So there you just need to have an Udyam Aadhaar and there is a kind of a letter that you submit that this is my bank account, this is my PAN card. So pay both my royalties, link both my
To the
royalties to
same.
this particular thing. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. But this is extremely useful information because as of now, the way we've been working is that we've had artists, set up LLPs so that they could register with IPRS as a publisher. So this is very, very useful information. And I think a lot of artists will be very encouraged to hear this. Um, Great. So I think that kind of answers that first introductory question on the kind of royalties you collect and who can register with IPRS. And actually, continuing that on one more, I think one related question would be if I am an artist who does not have any songs released but is
Mhm.
planning to release music, do I still register with IPRS or do I wait for the song to be out and then register?
Yeah, currently, as per our SOP, you need to have at least one published song to register
One
with IP.
published song.
Yeah, at least one
Perfect.
published to register.
All right.
Yeah. Uh, and
Okay.
Sandra, you had one more question, like along with your first question, is that why
Yeah.
does a creator
Why
need
it's
royalty?
important. Yeah.
Why is it important? Yeah, see, there are see, royalty too is obviously that is your money. That is the money
Correct.
that your song is creating, your IP is creating. So
Yeah.
you should be getting that money. And why did you leave that money? So to get that
Yeah.
money, you have to join a copyright society. Because again, going back to our copyright law, the money
Okay.
cannot be paid to anybody else. Unlike West, where the money can be taken by the publisher or your authorized representative or anyone, in
Correct.
India, the money directly goes to you. And suppose if your royalties are made on Spotify, Spotify will never pay they will pay the sound recording royalties to your distributor
Mm.
or directly to you. But your
Correct.
performing royalties, your kind of publishing royalties, for the lyrics and the composition, they will not pay to your distributor or anyone else. They will
Yeah.
pay those royalties to ITRS, the copyright society like ITRS, and then ITRS will pay it back.
Mm.
And why it is important to having this different aspects because of which you need to be a member
Yeah.
of IPRS. Because the people, when we
Correct.
talk to people, the first thing that comes to my mind is that, okay, I'm just starting my journey. I don't know how much royalty my songs will make. So I don't have any hurry to join IPRS. Why should I at all bother to join IPRS now? Because I'm just starting and so will I get so much of royalty? If I'm not getting royalty, I am not interested. But that is not just the case. Suppose today when you are making music,
Mm.
you are releasing the music. There is no physical evidence of your music. It's just in form of a metadata, because from the studio, the song, when it goes to your distributor, it goes in the
Mm,
form of a metadata and some files.
correct.
So the
Correct. Correct.
metadata ensures your role in that song, whether you are a lyricist or a composer or a sound engineer, a sound producer, whatever you are, whatever your role is all
Yeah.
captured in that metadata. Whether you are the publisher, whatever is there is captured in the metadata. Now,
Right. Yeah.
you have seen every platform has their own way of putting out that metadata.
Correct.
So there is no one place where you have control on the data the way you want to publish it, the
Yeah.
way you want to. Because you have seen platforms where it is written as written by, and then you have the composer, lyricist, everybody, or performer, and then you have the
Yeah.
composer and the singer name coming together. So people get
Correct.
confused. What is my role exactly? Then
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
even it goes missing. Sometimes the spelling
Yeah.
of your name is wrong, or
Yeah.
even there can be 10 people with the same name. So if everything is happening through data, there are high chances that the song can be or the revenue can be linked to the wrong person. But
Correct.
how it is protected, so the way you have an Aadhaar number, the way you have a PAN card number, that ensures your unique identity as a citizen of India. There can be 10 Rumpa Banerjees or there can be 10 Sandhya, but Sandhya with that particular PAN number or the Aadhaar number will not be there. There can be no duplicate in that area. Similarly,
Yeah.
when you join a society, you get a ITI number.
Hmm.
That IPI number, interested party identifier. So that IPI
Hmm.
number ensures your unique identity. So every time you're submitting the metadata, that's the best practice. You should put your name and your IPI number. So
Hmm.
even if there's a small spelling mistake or your name is missing on the front, back end limit
Hmm.
that is there. So it will automatically get linked to your song and the revenue when the royalties
Hmm.
are generated.
Hmm.
Secondly, the other benefit of a society when joining a society is that suppose today I have released my song.
Hmm.
Where is the song registered that I am the author? I have released the song in this
Yeah.
particular. This is my album details. There is no
Yeah.
one place where you have a
Database.
proper database where you have established your authorship or ownership or your role in the song. So
Correct.
copyright society is one such global database where your
Yeah.
details are properly reserved and reserved your life, entire life, and even post that. So now tomorrow, if you suddenly see somebody else have released that song on their YouTube channel, you can
Hmm.
quickly go back, cull out the data from IPRS database and produce it saying, hey, see, I had released this song 5 years back or 3 years back, and today how are you going
Hmm.
out and saying this is your song? So
Correct.
you
Correct.
have one place where your credits and your kind of ownership is registered officially in a global database.
Yeah. That's
So
such.
then you can, because it is a kind of a repository of your works and data. So you
Correct.
have one place like a vault. It's like,
Hmm.
it's like putting your asset in the vault and also
Hmm.
making your asset work for you. Today, whether you are making music, whether you are touring or not, if you have
Hmm.
made popular songs, your asset, which is in the vault with IPRS, keeps on generating those royalties for you and it keeps on coming back to you. So it's
Correct.
like an investment you're doing. You
I
just
know.
focus on making good music, and there is
Yeah.
a body which is preserving or kind of protecting your assets and getting the monies back to you. It's like an investment.
Correct. We probably like discuss this in more detail a little later, but I think when you're talking about registering that asset with IPRS, does the ISWC code get generated by IPRS at that particular time? Is that how you keep track of the songs?
Yeah. So there are two codes to a song. One is
Yeah,
ISRC.
ISR. Yeah,
ISRC gets immediately. So ISRC, you have to get an ISRC before releasing the song.
release
That
it.
is a
Correct.
sound recording, the code for the sound recording. The
Correct.
ISWC is generated once you have submitted the metadata with IPRS, and
Hmm.
there are three parties to a song: the publisher,
Hmm.
the author,
Hmm.
and the composer. So when
Correct.
the metadata is complete, that means I have the IPI number of the publisher, I have the IPI number of the author, I have the
Hmm.
IPI number of the composer, Then this complete metadata with the three IPI numbers, they then get in the backend, which is a CISA. There's a global body called CISA.
Ah,
So in the
yeah.
backend, they generate the ISWC number. But for the ISWC
Okay.
to get generated, we need to
Yeah.
have all the three IPIs. Hence,
Okay.
now even publishers are putting that effort, labels are putting that effort
That's
to
what,
get all their author composers enrolled with
IPI
IPRS so that the IPI can be generated and the
generated.
ISWC is kind of created in the backend. But without the all the parties
All
involved,
three. Uh-huh.
the ISWC cannot be created. And
Generated.
why it is
Okay. This is
important to have a
very important
ISWC?
actually. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And Sandhya, I'm so happy that you are doing this and you're asking all those relevant questions. See, people
Yeah.
might think, okay, I will see to it. Now I'm too busy making, touring, and all those things. But
Yeah.
see, our lyrics and the composition are two very powerful elements in a
Correct.
song.
Elements of a song.
There,
Yeah.
yeah, with so many versions happening, so many remakes, remixes, so many things
Yeah.
happening. The lyrics and the composition, they are the integral part of the song. But how do you
Correct.
map all these different ISRCs to that one particular lyrics and composition? That
Hmm.
can only happen when your ISWC is created.
It's
If your
created.
ISWC is there, even if you have 10 ISRCs to that song, all the
Yeah.
royalties from all the ISRCs will come back to that one ISWC.
One
Lot
SWC
of,
code. Correct.
yeah.
That
So,
that whole bit about lyricists, the IPI of the lyricist, because I mean, I feel like there's a lot more attention on the composer, and that people kind of forget about the author slash lyricist, right? And
yeah,
don't like check in. What about the lyricist IPI number? Why haven't we got their number and put it in, uploaded it in the metadata as well? And
yeah,
incorrect metadata. I think that's also such a big problem, which kind of puts everything at a standstill because you've not got the right information, or there's a error in the name, or like the artist name and the legal name are different, which is in a lot of instances, right? Like you, I mean, I'll take Divine for example. Divine's legal name is different from his artist name, so in which
right.
case that's also something which I understand IPRS provides for, that you can notify the society of the fact that your legal name is different from your artist name. And how does that
Absolutely.
matter when you're submitting songs as well, I think.
Yeah, so see, this happens at the registration stage only. So at the registration stage, when you're joining a society, there is an
Mm.
option to provide both the number, like both the names. So you
Names, correct.
submit the application with your legal name because your PAN card and everything will have that. Your
Correct,
bank
yeah.
and all the places will have your legal name. But there is
Yeah.
also an option to put your alias name. That
Hmm.
alias name is your artist name.
Artist name.
So what
And what
happens
if
when
you
you
have
join?
multiple artist names?
You can put all of them one by one. You can add as
Okay,
many alias names
great.
you have. So what
Great.
happens when you join
Hmm.
society? Your legal name becomes the PT name, and all
Uh,
your alias names then get joined to that one PT name.
to that
So
one.
even
Okay.
so even if your song is being released in your artist name, in the backend in our database, that alias name is linked to your legal name. Because your royalties will be generated and paid in your legal name because your bank has the legal name.
Mm. Yeah.
So today you have not
Yeah.
opened a bank account with Divine name, right? Divine is not the
Yeah.
legal entity to open a bank
Yeah.
account. Bank has your original, your legal name.
Original, your
So,
legal
but
name. Correct.
yeah, but that is how the back end of a society is made. So that the artist names get linked to your legal name and the royalty then flows back to the right holders.
Mm. Got it.
So it's quite a robust machinery. See, if I think that, okay, I don't understand the copyright business or I don't know what the role of the copyright society am, maybe it will take time. I'm not so interested right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full-fledged industry and a kind of a mechanism working in the backend.
Yeah.
And there are
Yeah.
IPRS is just not one or two people that you see, like you know and you see.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
huge team working in the
Team.
backend to run this machinery. So in IKRS, we have a membership team, we have a documentation team, we have a distribution team, we have an accounts team with like who are kind of ensuring the money flows back to you
Mm.
after the documentation and distribution has happened. Then you have a legal team. Then you have a big IT team to build all this infrastructure of data management and processing. Then you have an international relations team. You have a corporate communication PR team to spread the awareness and messages. So it's a proper full-fledged corporate setup
Yeah,
to
yeah,
run
yeah.
this thing. Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear that, and I think we need to spread that message a lot more, because there's this perception, right? And I feel, and I work a lot with independent artists. I also work a lot with film industry, but I think the independent artist community has been a little. I think they just like, should we like register with IPRS, or does it work only for the film industry? And I'm just like, I don't think so, because Copyright Society is registered for the country, right? So it's across industries, whether you're in film or not in film. And I'm aware that IPR is also has been actively pushing and spreading a lot more, like working on a lot more awareness campaigns. And recently, your session with Swaratma, I think those kind of sessions really build confidence and trust with the independent artist community as well, because for them it's about that visibility, right? Like, that they don't have the kind of volume that like film industry music might get, but they're doing a lot of work, and kind of become a lot more stronger as a community as well in the last 5 to 6 years. So that's good to know. And
And Sanjay, to add to what
yeah,
you said, no, like
yeah,
before going to the next, because you raised couple of very important points in your conversation right now. See,
yeah,
it is more, so there was a perception that IPRS is more like film music
yeah,
centric or Bollywood centric.
yeah,
It is even more important for an independent artist to join a society than a film music person.
yeah,
Because the
yeah,
film music made you are already working with a business house. You are already working with a label in a film music. Film music कोई
yeah,
independently नहीं बनाते हैं. Film music you are already working with a label. So
mm.
your all this back end work, all this administrative work, all your
It's
data
already taken care
management
of. Yeah,
taken care of by the business body. So
yeah,
yes, if you join, you get your royalties. बाजार का उतना ही
yeah,
काम है just to join and get your royalties. But for an independent, because see, a label will not allow their rights to be infringed. A label will not allow their metadata to be all over the place. So that is already
yeah,
been taken care of. So your rights are
taken care of.
protected, everything is protected. You just need to join a society just to get the royalties back to you. That's the only rule. But for an independent artist today, it is not just only about royalties. It's about getting your IPI number, it's getting your works registered in a proper place so that your rights are protected, and
Yeah,
also be part of a community so that you get the right exposure. So IPRS
correct.
as a society is just not about royalty collection, it's a community of music creators.
Yeah,
We have stood beside artists during pandemic. We also give medical aids.
yeah,
So it's
I
a
heard.
community which is standing for you. And also, if you see foreign artists today, independent artists, their main source of income is live gigs.
Yeah,
You're going out and you're doing live performances without your song registered anywhere. Sometimes you don't need kind of Einstein's brain to understand the vulnerability of your music.
I know.
I am
Yeah,
not
yeah,
registered. There is not this is not recorded anywhere. I have not. There are many as the independent artists who have not also published it through a proper channel or their own YouTube channel. They're just going and doing live performances. Just
correct. Yeah.
imagine the vulnerability of their music and the song. Tomorrow, if
Yeah.
I record that, suppose you're doing some in a pub, say,
Mm,
say
yeah,
Lucknow.
yeah,
I hear it. I like the tune. I record it. I come back to Mumbai. I quickly produce it and I just improvise on it and I release it. Gone.
yeah,
How will
I
you
know.
even
Yeah,
ever prove that it's your song? So for an independent artist, it is even more important to join a society to get their songs registered, their identity preserved as a
mm,
creator tomorrow. Also, a
correct.
lot of these independent artists, they work as a band. So how do you
Yeah,
split the royalty? How do you split
royalty.
the rights amongst your fellow creators? So all these
Correct.
things are managed very efficiently by a society. So and you get the
Yeah,
required know-how, you get networking opportunities with all creators across. So it's
correct.
actually being part of a body which is there to help and support you in your journey as a creator.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
suppose if you are independent artist, you're doing live gigs. Your
Mm.
For every live gig, royalties are made because people need to take a license for any live
Correct. Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But then how? So that's an additional income to over and above that the payment or the earnings that you get through ticket sale or anything. But how does that
Absolutely.
royalty come back to you if you are not a
Only if
member
you're
of a
registered. I know. Yeah.
team?
So, but
So there,
actually,
yeah,
that point
yeah,
is has been like this is something which I keep talking about and I keep pushing back on artists as well. So they have there have been instances where you have organizers or venues which say that, if you're registered with IPRS, we don't want to have you perform because we have to pay
yeah,
IPRS, or they'll cut it from, the performance fees, which I feel is a very unfair practice. And the only way we can get rid of it is that if every artist is registered with IPRS, then they can't avoid it. They have to like comply with it in any case. So I think it kind of builds a better case to make sure that everyone is registered with IPRS.
absolutely. And also, see, when we have our own community,
Mm.
IPRS can also do a proper negotiation. See, here,
Correct.
IPRS is not a body which is trying to stop you from earning or running your
Yeah.
business. We are,
Correct.
see, because you as an organizer or as a venue or as an event kind of a place, because
Mm.
like recently if you see there are a lot of the small venues who are doing live gigs with independent artists. So they are also kind of
Yeah.
trying to build a business. So
Mm.
we are all eager to build a community with people who are associated with music as creators or as promoters.
Mm.
So and that can only happen if we all come together. So we are also open to kind of a discussion with you. Recently, when I went to few cities in Bangalore and in
Mm.
Pune, Hyderabad, we met few of these venues, and I spoke to my public performance team and told them that see, this is a kind of a new ecosystem coming up. So let us
Yeah.
work around some different tariffs so that
Yeah.
see they also feel
Yeah.
motivated
Motivated to have.
be part of our mission. So see, we
Correct.
are always open because see, if you understand that how fast the music industry is growing and how
Yeah.
much it is changing and adapting to the need. So
Correct.
things which were not there even a year or two back, they are all come up
Mm.
now. So at ITRS, we are also open to understand and come back with a solution. It's not a dead end, कि ऐसा ही है तो ऐसा ही होगा, so I just shut my door. No. Let us all
Mm.
come together and see how we can benefit each other.
Yeah.
Because changing that mindset is very important that no, I'm not an
Correct.
obstruction, but I'm here as a you to help you to grow and flourish.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think we should, I mean, like, I'd say louder, say it as loud as possible. Um, Great. So I think that answers a lot of questions that, I think not just for me, but also for like artists who are tuning in and who will listen to this episode. I think this is probably going to be an episode that everyone's going to flag and download and keep listening to over and over again because it's important information. Um, so I think my next question is also kind of in terms of like how your workflow itself is, right? Like how do you obviously like things have changed significantly in the last 6 years with like digital distribution and with streaming platforms coming in. There's a lot more focus on, I think, your digital media and like availability of music on digital media and consumption of music there. So how is the society adapting to this increasing prevalence of digital streaming platforms, and how do you work with DSPs like a Spotify or an Apple Music or a YouTube? Is it like do you have like blanket licenses, or is it based on actual usage? Could you just walk me through how that is? Obviously, like I without
Yeah.
any breaching any confidentiality obligations, I understand that.
Yeah.
Just to explain to the listeners how that works.
Yeah. So it's a very relevant question. Yeah. Today, if you see, as per all studies that are coming out,
Yeah.
streaming has become one of the major revenue sources for music and the
Correct.
creators and
Correct.
whoever is investing in this business as a label or a publisher. So
Yeah.
last studies showed that 72% of the revenue is coming from streaming. And
Mhm.
IPRS is also expanding its kind of its work and base and reach in the digital space. We already have kind of licensing deals with YouTube, Spotify, Meta.
Mm.
Then recently we
Yeah,
signed with Win. So we are trying to get as many digital platforms into IPRS. Unfortunately, enough talks are still on with JioSaavn, Ghana, and
mm. Mm.
indigenous streaming platforms, but we're hopeful that it will soon get resolved. So see, every digital platform has a like different model of the revenue and the payment to the artist. If you see
Understood.
YouTube is primarily a ad supported
Correct. Yeah.
platform. So
Yeah.
uh, the revenue or the royalty from that platform depends on the kind of ad that are running
At
on your
revenue.
content. Yeah. So we have also
Oh,
seen
okay.
sometimes people think that it
Mm.
depends on the views. If my views is so many millions, so I am supposed to
Mm.
get so much of money from YouTube.
Mm.
But
Mm.
it
Mm.
has no direct correlation. Maybe yes, it can have a somewhat a connect, but there is no
Mm.
direct correlation because we had an instance for a regional song, Gujarati song,
Mm.
which had
Mm.
I think 5 million views. But when we
Mm.
checked in the back end, it was only I think $1 or $2 of royalties that were generated, and we were also really shocked. What had
Mm.
happened is that it did not garner that kind of a revenue or a ad revenue on that content.
Mm.
Because see, as an advertiser, I also choose the market I want to target, the audience I want to target. So I'm
Mm.
kind of building and putting my ads accordingly. So for regional music, a lot of times, even if the view is very high,
Mm.
the royalty is not proportionately at par with, say, a national kind of a content,
Mm.
say a
Mm.
Bollywood music or a film music. So there are,
Mm.
but your revenue is on a pro rata like but it's completely on the ad that is running on your content. So from the ad revenue
Mm.
that is generated on your content, YouTube will keep a certain portion of it. It will pay
Mm.
the sound recording, the label of a certain
Yeah,
portion, and the
a certain
balance
portion.
publishing. Yeah, so that is
Yeah.
how the YouTube platform works. Now coming to Spotify, that here currently it is on a deal that happens with ITRS on a society at a society level. So there is a fixed money that is coming to ITRS based on the
Mm.
negotiation and the deal that we have done. Now we also get the stream counts. So these are the some of the
Mm.
streams. So then we arrive at a per stream revenue basis the
Mm.
total money that we have collected. Now, for example,
Okay.
suppose
Okay.
I've got 1,000 rupees and
Mm.
there are say 10,000 streams or that has happened. So,
Mm.
on a pro rata basis, per stream then we will calculate. Now, if your
Mm.
particular song has garnered so many streams, so based on that calculation, simple unitary method, the money gets
Mm.
distributed.
Okay.
But this will improve if we go into a subscription model. And hence, that is the reason today
Mm.
majority of streaming platforms are pushing for subscription model. Because if it is a
Correct.
subscription model, then
Mm.
the basis of your payments then increase. Because
Mm.
today Spotify is negotiating on the basis that okay, I'm earning so much only from my ad revenues. So this is one ballpark money that I can give you. But tomorrow, if
Mm.
it is subscription based, then the distribution will be more like better and I think more like a win-win situation for the creators and those behind the
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Similarly for
So
media
basic.
and all, these are all in the similar way. Now it's currently all the negos based on that amount that we are getting and then per view per stream basis that the money is getting distributed.
So with Spotify and Meta right now, when you're saying it's like a fixed amount, it's an annual amount, is it?
Annual amount, yeah, annual
Annual
deal that
amount.
we
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
You would, I mean, considering it's like a Meta would obviously include like your Instagram and like all of these
Yeah,
the
yeah. It
social
is,
media
yeah, yeah,
platforms, right?
it is reels and all. So if your
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
is being used in reels, as many times it is being used, basis that usage the payment is happening.
Okay. And all of these, like the data reports come in from the platform to IPRS.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
digital is that is very important because digital that is the reason the digital monies are so big because
Hmm.
today we see that everything that is on digital is measurable.
Correct. Yeah.
So the algorithms, the backend and everything is so robust. On digital,
Mm.
this mapping and payment is very structured and streamlined.
Clean. Okay.
Unlike
Yeah.
a public performance, unlike,
Huh.
say, a broadcasting. Broadcasting with all challenges we have because
Yeah.
getting the entire that cue sheet and all those things. Suppose we have got the
Yeah.
money, but now
Yeah.
getting the log, the cue sheets to map that revenue to the usage is a task in itself.
Correct.
So
Because that's still manual, I suppose.
manual and all, and lots of times those are not properly shared or maintained
Shared
also.
also. Mm.
See, because for a broadcaster, that is not their primary business to provide. So see,
Yeah.
they can think like that because he has given the money to IPRS, but how will they distribute if I don't give them the
Huh.
proper log and the proper cue sheets?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they know on their channel how many times what the show has run, what are the music that has played. So that
Exactly.
is,
Yeah.
but yeah, but that's still in India, kind of
It's
human
like a
quality.
mentality, I think, more
Yes,
than
yes,
anything
because
else.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know why, but it's a mindset in India that music is free and
Yeah.
creators are doing a fancy job. That is because they
Yeah.
love music they're doing. We don't
It's
have
a
any
hobby,
responsibility.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have any responsibility towards their well-being. But the Pacamelias have when I had appointed him for this particular project. So why he's again coming back, asking for
Yeah.
royalties. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, public
Yeah.
performance is even in a world state because
Oh
live
my
events
God,
happen.
really?
No settlers coming to us.
Oh.
Uh, in
Still.
many places, we don't get settlers properly, and the major kind of problem happens in the regional markets. Because see,
Mm.
people when we go to the organizer or to the event manager, they were the settlers. So randomly, जो top of mind आया, he will put those songs. Sometimes when we check, we again go back in the running. Yeah, artist is a नहीं था, then how was the song performed? So suppose I bought एक तो struggle है people don't take license for live events and public performance. That is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
huge problem.
Yeah.
Even when they take a license, they are not giving me the proper set list. So now whom
Yeah.
do I distribute the money? And we feel bad for the regional artists because उसमें top of mind कुछ Bollywood गाने डाल दिया. And when there is
Yeah.
no set list or a proper say, kind of data, then it goes into analogy. And analogy is that like 30% is your, no, 40% is YouTube, 30% is your streaming, and 30% is radio. So on
Oh.
YouTube, on streaming, on radio, the top songs जैसे है, basis that
Yeah.
your unlocked royalties get distributed. So people who are
Oh. Okay. Understood.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So regional artist, maybe he's very popular in his region, but he's not top of
Correct.
charts in YouTube and all these places. So when it is based analogy distribution, then he is kind of the sufferer. He's not getting the money
Oh,
because
that's really
analogy.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of work, Sandhya, a lot of work is there to be done at the ground level. A lot of things need to be streamlined at the ground level so that
Yeah.
even if monies are being made, they they get channelized to the right people. That is what
Yeah.
our role is
Honestly,
to do.
I feel like IPRS, a license from IPRS should become like a part of the bundle of licenses that you require to run an establishment which is performing, which has music. So whether you're a coffee shop, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're like a shop or a mall, you shouldn't be able to operate your business without procuring a bunch of licenses, which should include IPRS. As in, this is just a thought off the top of
No,
my head.
no, no,
Idealistic.
Sandhya, no, Sandhya, I'm just quite kind of quite awestruck with your thinking because this is what something our chairman Javed Akhtar Sahab is trying to do.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay, that's amazing. I'll take that as a huge compliment.
So the way you are analyzing things or the questions that you're posing or the solutions that you're trying to come up with are absolutely bang on and is what is needed right now. Because see, there are 40 million outlets playing music. It
Yeah.
is not humanly possible for anybody or any institute or
Yeah.
organization to go and tap and track. Then we will be needed a huge workforce. That is not feasible. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what you said is very right. That if it is suppose the way you take a fire license or a food license or whatever you take
Hmm.
for running your business, there should be an option to choose that okay, I will be playing music at my premise, at my outlet or my whatever my
Correct.
sphere, like public place. And if you are playing music, you just need to submit that. And it will be very nominal. It's not very high. These are very
Yeah.
nominal charges. You fill it on an annual basis, and that way the money goes back to the government also. They will also earn huge money from this, and then the remaining comes back to the other composers. So
Very
yeah, that's a easy solution. But I don't, yeah, but I don't know. Things have to happen, and yeah, otherwise we'll never be able to solve this public performance thing in India. This was
I know.
considering the vastness of the country and the
Yeah.
population.
Yeah. And a lot of people also just play, like, for example, like you said, they're just playing a Spotify playlist or like something on YouTube
Hmm.
or even the radio. And in their head,
Hmm.
they're just like, why should I pay anybody else? Because I'm anyway either paying a subscription to
Hmm.
Spotify or I'm paying a subscription or I'm radio's so free. So why should I pay for anything additional? They're not thinking of like the other aspects of it. So I think it's a mindset change more than anything else that we really need
Yeah,
to be looking at.
awareness
So
and
yeah.
mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
So if you're playing a Spotify, use a headphone to listen to the music. In a parlor, suppose last
Yeah.
year I went to a parlor where they were playing the music from Alexa. So
Ah.
I said, where are you playing the music? Because earlier it used to be synthesizer and that recording that stuff that
Yeah, yeah,
DJ recorder
yeah,
play on
yeah.
speakers. But now you have multiple devices. So I was hearing the
Correct.
music and I was like, where is the music playing? And because I'm from IPRS, I'm always interested in the source of the music. So I
Yeah.
asked only that where is the music playing from? Where are you playing it? So then she told, oh, like it's from the Alexa. I said,
Uh-huh.
okay. Okay, but Alexa is ticket. If I'm playing at my home in my bedroom, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's okay. But not in a
But
commercial establishment.
yeah, but now you're paying it for your customers because they're coming to your
Correct.
parlors, they're coming to your cities, paying it for your customers. So it's become a
Yeah,
commercial exploitation is happening now.
yeah, yeah.
People they don't realize that. Yeah, it's
They
never easy.
don't. They really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they look at it as a very like, Arey, this is an unnecessary expense. I'm just like, no, it's not. I mean, you have survived on music. I mean, during pandemic, who entertained you? Music and all these artists only, So now you think that it's not an essential service, you don't want to pay for it. So I take very personal offense to it. So yeah.
So suppose when you're driving or in your cab, what do you do? Because when you're stuck in traffic, what do you do? Like music is only respite, right? In
Correct.
Mumbai,
Yeah.
I'm from Mumbai. Same for me. I cannot think of driving without listening to
Without
music. It is
music.
so
Yeah.
frustrating. It is
Yeah.
so frustrating. So yes, music is an integral part of our life. Then what bachao na? If you are not paying for music, don't play music then. Who has
Yeah.
who is forcing you to play music? Don't pay, don't play. You are not doing that. You're playing music,
Yeah.
but not paying for it.
Anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think with all these efforts and initiatives, things will change.
Yeah.
And the young generation, I'm very optimistic about.
Same
They
here.
have a
Same here. Yeah.
yeah,
And they're very clear about and their boundaries and what they're agreeing to
yeah,
and what rights they're giving away, and it makes me really happy to like work with artists who already come with that kind of preparation, and they've done their homework, and they're like, I don't want to give up my rights to like these things, and I'm just like, that's great, makes my life easier. So but anyway, okay, so moving on, I think we've kind of like explored even the whole data accuracy and transparency bit. So I'm assuming that all of this is tied in, right? Like there is a responsibility on the person who's procuring a license from IPRS to provide you with what music that they're going to be consuming. And you kind of calculate the license and the fees that they need to pay based on all of that information. And I think I'm assuming that now there is it's everything is kind of gone online, right? So
yeah.
if as a now for me as an artist who if I want to see uh like the split between performance royalties and mechanical royalties and how you're collecting it from digital platforms, is that something that IPRS actually provides details on, or is it like a lump sum figure? So some from Spotify, do you divide the royalties between these two categories when you're like
Yes.
distributing it?
So yeah, so all the details are mentioned in the royalty statement. All the details
Okay.
are mentioned in the royalty statement, the sources from which. So every time we distribute the royalty, so you get a statement mentioning the source. So if it is from Spotify, or if it is from YouTube, or from Meta,
Mm.
or from any,
Mm.
or public performance, or any broadcaster. So those
Mm.
details are all captured in the royalty statement, so that you are very clear. If, even with the names of the songs for which you got the royalty. So if you go
Yeah.
through a royalty statement, you get all the details pertaining to the money that you received from IPRS. Now,
Mm.
one more thing which we were speaking about, that getting the details from the organizers and events. So it's a
Yeah.
kind of a twofold responsibility. Why am I saying
Yeah.
twofold responsibility? Because we have seen a lot of people, okay, they understood the relevance of becoming a member of IPRS. They came
Mm.
ahead and they joined IPRS. But after that, they are not like registering their works on a regular basis. So
Ah.
if you are working with a label, if you are in the film music industry and mostly you work with a label, then
Yeah.
okay, if you, even if you
They'll take
have
care
not
of it.
registered, your publisher or your label has already registered that work with IPRS. You just need to
Yeah.
go and check whether those songs are registered or not, and then you inform IPRS, oh, these are mine, and then it is kind of mapped to you. But if you're an independent artist and you're registering with IPRS and you're not registering your songs, or suppose you're from the regional market but the publisher
Mm.
is also equally unaware or not equally enthusiastic about all this stuff, then both
Mm.
your publisher or your label and the artist, well, like all of you are together, kind of are getting deprived. Because if you don't register the songs with
Correct.
IPR, how
Yeah.
will we map and claim? Because
Yeah.
my data will like doesn't show that this song belongs to my member. So it is extremely important. It's a hygiene that as a member of ITRS, you need to go and check, because in our portal and in our website you can see the songs that are already in our repertoire. So you need to go and check whether the songs belong to you, whether the songs are there or not. If not, immediately come and register those songs on a regular basis. Because when you are releasing a song, you're putting your absolute money, might, everything to promote the song. You have the maximum reach and visibility during that time. And if you have not registered, you come back after 6 months or a year to register for song, you have already lost that momentum when we could have gone and claimed those revenues for you. So it's very
Yeah.
important. On one side, the creator has to be aware of the metadata, because metadata is today the backbone of the industry.
Mm.
Clean, correct metadata with proper credit
Yeah.
and whatever the splits are. Supposing there
Yeah.
are five people working together on a song. So in the
Yeah.
metadata, you have to make it clear who will get what percent of the royalty. Usually it is 50% to the publisher, 25 to the author, 25 to the composer.
25 to the
If
correct.
there are, yeah, if there are two authors or two lyricists, then the 25% gets split, 12.5 with like 12.5. But
But can you
you can
change
all,
that percentage? You can
you
agree
can.
to a different percentage. You can, right?
So when you're submitting the metadata, you can always mention the split.
Mm. Okay.
But all those have to happen at the registration stage, because you have to regularly come
Yeah.
and register your work. You have to mention the proposed the royalty split and everything, all the parties to the song, the language, the date of release, the album, everything. Then
Mm.
also these are all the things that lead to your earnings. So you
Yeah.
cannot say, okay, I'm only focusing on creation and leaving all this to just happen on its go.
Yeah. No.
If you are
You
building,
have to
find
pay attention to
someone.
this.
Huh. Today, if you go to any workshop, or you will see artist managers or people in the industry saying this thing, that I understand
Mm.
as an independent artist, you're starting your journey and maybe you don't have the money to hire people to do this work for you.
Mm.
Find find out your collaborators within your own friend circle and relatives.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
you split the work. Okay, today I am doing the music, let my brother or my close friend do my metadata and the backend administrative work for me.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then together you kind of, because if you're not doing this and leaving it on some other person, tomorrow when
Yeah.
you write and see, you will see that, oh my God, either I've lost rights of my own song, or in the metadata somebody else put somebody else's name. I was the,
Mm.
it is happening now rampant. That's the composer is
Mm.
later on coming and saying, "Acha, I was the only composer, now I see one more name along with me as a
Yeah.
co-composer."
Yeah.
So you have
Mhm.
to be very diligent about your own baby. It's your baby,
Correct.
and you cannot just leave it. You're giving it birth, and then living on the nurse and the hospital to take care of it.
Correct. Yeah.
What will
I,
happen to
I
them?
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Because I know that a lot of artists is just like, Arey, I don't have time for this. It's too much work. It's too much paperwork. I'm like, it's literally like one day's work. You just have to sit down and do it diligently. Now,
Mm.
if you are someone who's releasing music on a regular basis, you know what your schedule is going to look like. So you know that, okay, maybe the day you've released the track, you're going to be busy. But like 2 or 3 days after that, you send in all this information to your society and make sure that it's all
Yeah,
taken care of. So that's the
yeah,
kind of discipline that needs to come in for artists who are like, working on their own as well. But if they have a team, of course, I mean, great. That makes it a lot more convenient. But this is
yeah.
so
Because
important.
yeah, it's extremely important. See, suppose today I kind of we kind of say this times how many times I don't know now. I've told this in my workshops. When you buy a house, you are so
Yeah,
diligent about it. You check each and every sale date में 10 बार आप उसको पढ़ते हो. You go through it. You understand. You are reading it. You
yeah,
understand what is it. Then you go and
yeah,
sign a. When you're buying an asset, you pay so much of it. Go back and forth. Up when you're buying a share or anything, you're going back and forth to understand. This
correct.
is even more precious than all of these. Tomorrow, if it clicks,
Mm,
can get you so much of money, which maybe one apartment or a car or anything other physical asset might not have been able to give you in return.
yeah,
But you are most negligent when it comes to your managing your IPs. These are intellectual
yeah,
properties. These are also properties.
correct.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
build that mindset and habit of being more careful about your IPs. Because today I see any young artist I speak to, Sandhya, it is a
Yeah.
kind of a, I will say 80%, from 80% I have heard that they have gone to a distributor. They have
Mm,
not even done a contract, handed over the song, have some email exchange, and
yeah.
then now they are seeing that the rights and the copyright and the sound recording rights are now with the name of the distributor.
Yeah.
So I think the distributor is no longer the distributor. He has now become the publisher and the
Yeah.
sound recording rights used. He's holding the rights. You are just a composer now. So you have no idea what has happened to your song now.
Correct. I
It's no
know.
longer your baby. Somebody has adopted your baby
Somebody else has, yeah, without your knowledge also.
without your knowledge and consent. Hmm.
Yeah, but this brings me to a very important question, like about, so now in this whole context, how do like what is the point of a publishing administrator then? Because if you have copyright societies who are already collecting your mechanical royalties, what value add does a publishing administrator bring to the table? And also, from a copyright society's perspective, how are you treating publishers differently from publishing administrators? Like today, I feel like administrators kind of what they're offering is that, listen, I know you don't have time to like look into all of this, we'll do it for you. You just give me your artist name and we'll keep tracking your songs and we'll basically like collect mechanical royalties and blah blah blah. So how, in your mind, how do you think publishing administrators, like what is the difference between these two? Like is there a value add in signing up with a publishing administrator, and how do you as a copyright society work with publishing administrators?
Okay, it's a very good question. See, these two roles are very different: publisher and a publishing administrator. A
Yeah,
publishing administrator is the person who is managing your back-end admin jobs.
correct.
A publishing administrator will never own the rights of the content.
Correct.
While on the other hand, the publisher is a person with whom you come into a contract, and that can be
Mm,
for a limited period, where
mm,
you are assigning the rights of your content to the publisher. So the publisher is a business entity. So because as a creator, you might not have that kind of content like contact beyond your city or territory, or you might not have contact like even like within your city. You might not have the kind of a selling or a kind of a commercial skills. So what a
yeah,
publisher does, they are a business entity, so they will go out and they will try to get like monetize your lyrics and composition as much possible. They can also
yeah,
get you sync fees and all those things. So
yeah,
it depends on the kind of services you want from the publisher, starting from a sync deal to helping you to get more kind of utilization of your lyrics and the composition. So they are actually taking the content from you and then commercializing it to the best possible way. They can also
mm,
find you opportunities beyond your own country, abroad, and everywhere. So a publisher is the person who is playing the role of a kind of a commercial entity to make
Mm,
to like help you earn more monies for your content. While on the other side, an administrator's job is to only be the bridge between the creator and the copyright society. Yes, you are right. IPRS is collecting and managing the data, registering the data on behalf of the artist. But
mm,
today, as a creator, as we were discussing, I don't have the time, I don't have the bandwidth to do all of these. But you
mm,
are losing on the money. If you are quite a talent and promising talent, then you're losing on
mm,
the monies because you're not doing the right job at the right moment. So a publishing administrator will like manages all your this backend stuff. So they will register your metadata with the Copyright Society. They will constantly be in touch with the Copyright Society to ensure that your data, everything is properly maintained. When you are getting the royalty statement also, going through the royalty statement to see which all songs you have got royalties for. If there are any songs which are popular but it's not there in the royalty statement, then
mhm,
raising those questions with the society that hey, this song is also popular, but I don't see enough royalties made or no royalties made on this song. So they are constantly kind of managing your documents data with the copyright society. Third, they at times they also ensure that your songs are properly claimed across all platforms. All your data,
mm,
metadata is properly reflecting on all platforms where your music is playing. So they are just an administrator. They are just managing the work on your behalf, but they will not own your rights of the content.
understood.
So that's the role of an administrator. So usually the prevalent process pay is of 10 to 15% of the royalty commission that these people charge. Suppose if I'm getting
Mm,
say 10,000 as royalty, the
mm,
publishing administrator will charge me somewhere around 10 to 15% of my royalty. So that is how they
correct.
do.
Yeah,
So that is a complete back end admin job.
yeah.
And publisher has a bigger role where you are assigning the rights to the publisher. They are holding the rights because you don't have the marketing might. And they are going out and marketing the product on your behalf. So that is the difference.
Mm,
So even
understood.
if see if you are a young artist, so like lot of you will see the talent managers, they say that, but as a young artist, you do not need a manager, talent manager. You need a talent manager when you have grown in your career. Similarly, as a young budding creator, you don't need an administrator. You can manage because your count of songs is less, your volume of work is less. So you can manage also you don't need to afford. Also an administrator will not find value because you're not earning enough royalty. So
Correct,
you
yeah.
manage it. But once you have grown in your career and you need somebody to manage your metadata and the admin jobs, then you appoint a publishing administrator.
Yeah. So you have a lot of these platforms which are providing these administrator services, right? Like for example, I think one of the first that I saw was when CD Baby was in India, they had Publishing Pro. I don't think they were operating in India at that point of time, but a better example would probably be a Song Trust. So how does IPRS work with an entity like Song Trust? Because Song Trust is
Yeah.
not really, as in it's automated. I just go on to the platform, sign up, given details about my songs, and they just do the tracking. So what is that relationship like?
Yeah. So see, the difference of working with Songcraft in India and abroad is a bit
Mm,
different because,
mm,
as I told at the beginning of our conversation and the session, is
mm,
that in abroad, the royalty money can come to your administrator, it can come to your publisher, and it can come to you. It depends who you want to assign the responsibility to. So there, Songtrust becomes the bridge. So what Songtrust usually do, and why many artists uh, get attached to Songtrust is that Songtrust manages your administrative and so what. So suppose if you are a creator, what Songtrust will do, they will find out which all markets your music is popular, then
mm.
they will on their
Ah,
own get enroll with those copyright societies if they feel that one society is
mm,
not enough to collect your royalties from different territories where the music is immensely popular. Accordingly,
mm,
they will get you registered to the relevant societies in those territories. And they will only be the bridge between the society and the creator. They will collect the royalties, they will keep their percentage, and then they will pay back the remaining royalty to the creator. So, as a creator, you have no clue or no connect with the society. You only know
Yeah.
Songtrust, and Songtrust only is managing your membership with those copyright societies and PROs. But
Yeah.
also, what happens, as I told, in foreign society, there are separate bodies for performing and
Or
mechanical. So
mecha-
sometimes it
yeah.
becomes very cumbersome for a creator to separately work with, say,
Yeah.
ASCAP and MLCP and all those things. So
Yeah.
Songtrust becomes then one window. I don't have any headache. In countries where there is a one society collecting both, Songtrust will get me those royalties. In places where there are two different societies collecting the royalties, Songtrust will only ensure that I am registered with ASCAP and also with MLCP. So that way, we are taking all the headache. But in India, it is not. Why didn't it happen so? Why it could not work that way in India? Because the Indian law says that copyright law says royalty will directly go to the author composer.
Yeah.
Now, if the royalty is going directly to the author composer, what is the motivation for Songtrust to do so much of back-end job?
Mm.
Now, what will happen? Suppose I am getting say 1 lakh royalty from IPRS. If it had been you, where Songtrust would have gone that 1 lakh rupees, deducted their percentage, whatever was the understanding with the creator, balance they would have transferred to the creator's bank account. But in
Yes.
India, if
Mm.
suppose today, like Sandhya is getting 1 lakh as an author,
Mm.
1 lakh will come to your account directly, Sandhya's account. Then Sandhya has to separately pay Songtrust.
Oh,
So
that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
so that becomes more complicated
Yeah.
because here, as per the copyright law, the creator is directly connected to the society. It is not via any third party. The third party is only an authorized representative, an administrator managing the back-end admin job. And the administrator will have a separate contract outside IPRS. Now, what's the percentage they have between the administrator and the artist? IPRS has nothing to do with it. IPRS's job is to collect the royalty and pay it to the authorized representative. Sorry, to the author composer. Hope I am being
Not to
able
the
to clear
authorized
this.
representative.
No, no.
Mm.
Hence, the
Okay.
Songtrust model is not working here.
Yeah.
Also, you do not need to get registered with multiple people here in India because IPRS is
Because
collecting both the
IPRS collects
performing
mechanical.
and the mechanical. Also, you
Understood.
have offices across India to cater to your needs. Also, you can come down to our offices.
Yeah. So, but
But yes,
the
now,
reason
ah,
I
mhm.
because I've also seen Songtrust appearing as a publisher, being listed as a publisher, which is I don't understand how that works because for you to be listed as a publisher, you need to own the rights, but
Yeah,
you
so
don't
that
own the
can be
rights.
done.
So,
No, that can be done
mm,
because suppose today I'm an independent artist, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I can assign my rights to Songtrust. But tomorrow onwards, you are the publisher. So you are owning the publishing rights. And I can have a contract with Songtrust that when you are getting the publishing royalties from IPRS, this will be the split between both of us. So there are a lot of self-publishing deals also that happen. So a lot of small labels or regional labels or independent artists, what they do,
mm,
they assign the publishing rights to a publisher or a Songtrust.
mm,
So Songtrust then owns the publishing rights of that song and they register in IPRS as a publisher. So the
mm,
50% of the royalty will go to
yeah,
Songtrust as a publisher.
publisher. Mm,
Songtrust can now have a contract with the independent artist outside
mm,
IPRS as to what will be the royalty split for the publishing royalty. It can be a equal split. It can be a 70-30 split, depending on
mm,
how big the artist is and what are the opportunities. Who needs whom more? If I am a like budding artist, I need Songtrust more than Songtrust needs. Then maybe Songtrust will keep 70% of the publishing royalty, give me 30%. But even if they have assigned the publishing rights to Songtrust, the author composer like royalty right will retain with the artist.
Artist, correct. Yeah.
That is the best part of the thing in India. So if you see all the film songs, the rights are held by the labels, right? Who are also the
Yeah.
publisher members in IPRS.
Correct.
So 50% of the royalty goes to say a Tare Kama, T-Series, Venus or whoever
By
is
default. Yeah.
supporting Universal. But even if they have signed off their ownership rights of the song to the label,
Hmm. Hmm.
the royalty rights of a creator or the author composer is directly going to the lyricist and the composer.
Yeah, that the labels can't really like take anything out of.
So, as per
At
the
least not after
copyright law,
2012. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, as per the copyright law, even if I have signed my ownership right,
Hmm.
my author composer royalty will keep coming to me. And that's the why this session or whatever we are doing talking is important because as a creator, you should make a choice, but an informed choice and a decision. Today, depending on the career, the stage of my career I am in, and the kind of might I have in terms of my back-end support system, I can choose to hand over my rights because today I am just trying to build my career. I should focus more on my craft than on the business. So I am
Hmm.
assigning my rights to a person who can manage the commercial aspects better.
Hmm.
Because even if I assign the rights to the third, to the other person as a publisher, I'm continuing to earn my rights, my royalties as a author composer. Tomorrow, when I have grown as a creator, then I can start holding back my rights. Also, when you're assigning the rights, you can define the period for it. It might not be perpetuated.
Yeah.
Please, whenever
Correct.
you're signing a contract, just be very clear on the clauses.
Mindful of what you're assigning. Yeah.
Yeah. You can
What?
see
But
for a period of 5 years. Yeah.
so, for example, there are also like I was also like doing this exercise on understanding how publishing administrators work, and there was also this whole model where you have an exclusive license to the publishing administrator, saying that an authorization from the artist saying that you can do all of these things, and it's going to be an exclusive license for a limited period, and that kind of gives them the right to like collect these royalties on behalf of artists and all that. And I think it
No.
makes sense for them to do it for a global scale. Like if I'm an artist based out of India and I do have a listening outside India, so in India, if I'm working with IPRS, and for the rest of the world, if I sign up with Songtrust, is that something that makes sense, or do I even need to do it because IPRS works with international societies too?
See, there is like also a kind of an arrangement which is called the reciprocal agreement.
Yeah,
So
that
in
was my
so
next
IPRS
question
is
actually.
part. So IPRS is part of a global body called CISAC. So CISAC is the mother body
Yeah.
which is kind
Yeah.
of governing and controlling all copyright societies across the globe. So today there are 228 copyright societies in 112 countries.
Mm.
So when you are part of the CISAC community, so we are having reciprocal agreements with the societies in other countries. So in UK you have PRS, in US you have ASCAP, BMI, in Canada you have SOCAN, Australia you have
Yeah.
APRA. So already IPRS is having this reciprocal agreement. So like through these reciprocal agreements, whenever the music is playing, say in US or in UK, PRS will be collecting in UK and paying it back to IPRS to pay back to its members. But a lot of times
PRS, you're
today
saying. Okay.
PRS in UK. Similarly, ASTAP and BMI, they will collect in US and pay back to IPRS to kind of pay it back to our members. Similarly, IPRS will again collect for the people, the
Mm.
foreign artists performing in India or their music being played in India and pay it back to the respective copyright society. For example, when Ed Sheeran came to India for the
Yeah.
concert, IPRS did the licensing because we are the
Mm.
body who are authorized to do that in India, the territory of India. So we did the licensing and we paid the money to ERS to be paid back to HLE, so the royalty. It's a very
Mm.
kind of like a nice arrangement that is there. But yes,
Mm.
lot of artists today, if you find that you have a very strong market in UK or a very strong market in US, lot of times
Mm.
they also prefer, if it's India territory, I will give IPRS. For foreign territory, I may give it to the foreign society. But it
Mm,
also depends on whether you have the might to monitor everything. You see, it is not
mm.
just about joining a society. You also have to
Yeah,
maintain that back-end, relationship and regular monitoring with the societies. So
correct.
it all depends on कितना बना रहे हो, what is the power of your music, how much you are earning from your music, and then expand your tentacles.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So, and these reciprocal agreements that you're talking about, um,
Hmm.
is it, and I understand that different societies have different kinds of arrangements. So I'm assuming there's no set pattern of like fee payments and tariff rates, or is that like
No,
standardized? Is no,
no, it's
right?
not that. No, every society has their
Has
own
their own
process.
arrangement.
Yeah.
Okay. There was also this platform that I'd come across called, there are two of them actually. There's one is Ice and the other one is Audium. And
Mhm.
how do these, because they also claim to collect royalties globally. So, but they're not copyright societies. So, how do they kind of, enable copyright societies? Like, how do these kind of platforms fit into the workflow of royalty
Yeah.
collection?
See, they are actually associated or connected with the copyright societies. Today, ICE
Yeah.
is kind of connected with PRS. So these are
Mm.
all platforms which are kind of equipped to kind of claim, monitor, claim, and collect the royalties from different sources, where, like from the digital sources primarily, where your music is playing. So it's
Yeah.
a backend of the royalty collection mechanism. So PRS has this ICE platform, which they are using in the
Yeah.
backend to collect the royalties. IPRS has Metastasia. So everybody has
Uh-huh.
a backend like technology or a backend platform or a setup, which is doing this entire mapping, monitoring, claiming, collection, and getting the money back to the creators. So these are just
Great.
platforms which are connected to the respective copyright societies, and they are their backend, I mean, say
Yeah.
the backbone and the backend setup to
Yeah.
collect and monitor the
Yeah.
royalties.
And I think the most important thing over here, I mean, for anyone who's listening also, is that all of this sounds like great, but I think the bottom line is that if you're not registered with your copyright society, you're not going to be seeing any of this, right? Like none of these royalties come to you. So the most important thing is that you register with a copyright society. And then I think all of this, the workflow and figuring out who you work with and like how they'll collect from outside India and all of that kind of flows in after that. So um to like wrap up this bit, it's to I want to understand that as an Indian artist who has an international audience, um, is it enough that I register with IPRS, or do I need to supplement it with any other, like, I don't know, maybe a song trust, or do I need to register with any other international society, or is it okay if I just have a registration with IPRS?
See, the one answer which I can give to this question is that, firstly, because if you are an Indian citizen, you have a very active copyright society in your own country. So it is
Yeah,
but obvious, and your market is India primarily. So it is but
yeah,
obvious you will join a copyright society, which is IPRS. That is your start of
correct.
your journey in this domain. Once you
Mm,
have become a member of IPRS, now you have options, a foreign
mm,
society or a song trust. So when you have joined IPRs, you have understood the body, you have understood the benefits.
mm,
Typically, you get in touch with Songtra, the person who is kind of coming to you, or the kind of person who is introducing you to Songtrust, or if you're doing it
mm,
online on your own, study
mm,
the platform, study the benefits,
mm,
and see
mm.
what benefit will I get additionally to what I'm getting at IPRs,
Correct, yeah.
right? So what I tell everyone, see, you go and see. I will see, it's there's no one answer to this, whether you should do it or
Mm,
not do it. You
mm.
have become a member of IPR because these are all costs involved to it. Nobody will do anything for you.
Yeah,
See,
for
Songtrust will
free, yeah.
deduct a certain amount of commission for the thing they are doing. So go
Yeah,
into Songtrust, find out. See if it is benefiting you. Obviously, you can. But now go and find out. What is that you're getting in addition to what IPRS is giving? And
Mm.
if you find, yes, it kind of ticks a lot of boxes for me, yes, it makes sense for me to become a member of some trust, yes, you keep certain rights with IPRS, you give certain rights to some trust. But you have to analyze it. Because I have seen majority of creators, they do it because my friend told me to do. My friend is doing it, I am also doing. So everybody is like a three blind mice going and falling into that same thing.
Yeah.
So we are all educated today. ऐसा नहीं है that we are everybody is qualified. Even if I am an artist or a a kind of creator, I have
Mm.
proper degrees with me. So you can go and read English, you can understand what is there in the back. And even for foreign societies, go and find out. If I join PRS, if I join the ASCAP or BMI, what is the additional benefit? Is my song so popular in US? Are my music
Mm.
so much relevant in UK that I cannot do without PRS or I need to join? If it is yes, definitely go and join.
Mm.
But you have to understand your requirements. See, everybody's requirement will be different. Today, what AR Rahman needs, I may not need at the beginning of my career,
Mm.
right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So it is
Well.
depending on what I need and whether I am getting any additional benefit from the other bodies that I am joining with. If it is yes, yes, you should definitely do it because
Yeah.
we all want that you succeed in your career. You earn more from the music that you are making.
Mm. Yeah. So
That
I
is
mean,
the
in this
answer.
particular, so like in this particular instance, like if I'm registered with IPRS and you're collecting mechanical and performance, and say I've registered with IPRS in my capacity as a publisher as well, I would
Yeah.
think that since you have relationships with international societies, since you have those reciprocal agreements, I don't really need to be registered with anybody else, technically
Yeah.
speaking. Correct?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you first make yourself popular, your music popular, and then you decide. Now, suppose you have become so popular, you're collaborating with lot with foreign artists. A chunk
Mm.
of your collaborators are sitting in US, and you're working for Hollywood and those kind of projects.
Mm.
Then
Mm.
you can start thinking, okay, my directly I'm working on lot of projects in Hollywood and with the people
Mm.
from that market. So
Mm.
maybe somewhere my music is primarily now playing there, some of my music. Maybe it
Mm.
might make sense that IPRS manages my Indian content and I might want to join a foreign society for my foreign content.
Okay.
So it all depends that what you are doing. Because see, why are you joining? You're joining to get the money
Yeah.
and make the most from your music. So just understand, study, because now today information is like readily available.
Yeah.
And if you
That's
are
true.
not sure, talk to people who know the business. Reach out to people.
Correct.
Everyone is happy to help. Reach out to IPRs. They will be also happy to guide and help you on.
And I think there's also like this whole NOC thing, right? Like if you have like if you are collecting in India and like if the artist is registered within some international society as well, there's I
Mhm.
think IPRS provides an NOC to the other
Yeah,
society of something to that extent, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's to like ensure there's no overlap, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah. So the territories cannot overlap. So
Correct.
lot of time when people are members of foreign societies, now they want to join IPRs. So they get an NOC from the foreign society and then they join IPRs and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah.
And there's one more point that that's it. Today you know that when you are earning, there's a GST to it, right?
Yeah.
So if you are an Indian citizen and your music is playing in India, and but
Yeah.
you have gone and joined a foreign society and your revenues from India market is being routed back through the foreign society to you, that means
Mm.
you're escaping GST.
Hmm.
And the way the vigilance today is, if
Oh
the
my
money
God.
has become bigger, yeah, there are troubles around the corner. So it doesn't make sense. Understand where your music is, where your revenue is coming from. The revenue is happening here, and you're collecting it through a foreign society means you're avoiding the GST.
Correct. Yeah.
So somewhere it will come into the radar that okay, foreign currency is coming, the revenue source is India, so this is
Mm.
kind of hey. So talk to your CA, talk to your lawyer, and get things sorted.
Hmm. Great. I think, yeah, talk to your lawyer. I mean, that's a very important thing.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but I think there's a lot of questions, I think, follow-up questions, which I'm sure I will have, and I'm sure people who are listening also will have. But I know that we have our like set time, and I don't want to like take up more than I already have. But just to like end the episode on this note, like, do you have any advice for independent musicians and for people who are like tuning in, not just artists but also like artist managers and kind of people who are working within the industry?
Yeah. See, the main thing is that first and foremost is that you have to make great music. Today,
Mhm.
there is a kind of a plethora of creators coming into the industry, but be
Mhm.
very sure on how you want to build your career. Just that because everyone is doing, I'm also doing, or I love
Mm.
music and I have an easy way of now releasing. Because earlier it was you had to depend on somebody to give you the opportunity. But now
Yeah.
you can have your own channel, you can just do it, you can release it, you're
Mm.
going and releasing it or you're doing live gigs and all. But be very
Mm.
sure about your potential, your talent, and how you want to grow your career in music. Second
Yeah.
is spend some time to understand the business of music. Today, the
Yes.
line between the creator and a music entrepreneur or a business body has kind of blurred. There is no distinction. Today, even a creator, you cannot say, I don't know. Even if you're
Mm.
not doing it yourself, it is always important for you to know the different nuances and aspects of the music business so that when you're negotiating or when you're discussing with somebody on your projects and prospects, you can ask the right questions. Because if a person now knows that, understand that you don't know, then there are chances you might fall in wrong hands. But you should know what you're doing. You should make the right informed decisions. You should take.
Mm.
That is the very important make, because in your when you're starting your career, have people in the community who you can together work and grow along, because
Mm.
it is not easy to build a career as an independent artist today. So you should
Mm.
have people within your community with whom you can collaborate, you can share, or you can work together on the different aspects, because there is one is music making, the other is the business of music, metadata management, backend management,
Yeah.
two things. So
Yeah.
build a very close knit group who all of you can together share and collaborate and always reach out for help. There are people
Yeah.
who can help you. And keep your eyes and ears open, reach out for help, and just understand what you are doing. Don't do because somebody told you or you saw your friend doing it.
Mm.
Understand what you are, why you need to do that. That is,
Correct.
I think,
Yeah.
and be very careful about your IP. This is something which everyone cannot have. If
Yeah.
you are a creator, you're God gifted. You're creating something which is precious. So value your own creation. That is most
Yeah.
important. Then only others will value you. If
Absolutely.
you don't value, then nobody else will value. And voice it. Don't be skeptical. Okay, if I tell now, he might not take me for the next project. Okay,
Yeah.
that balance you have to maintain and you have to be thoda tactful. Today, creators cannot only be creative. You have to have a bit of tact. That
Yes.
voice out,
Yeah.
voice out
Yeah.
everything required.
Completely true.
So
I
I
mean,
think,
that's
yeah, this is such a vast topic. We will might need hours to go
I
on.
know. And I'm to 100% I'll have like a million more questions because I'm a nerd when it comes to like the music industry stuff and how it works. So, but thank you so much, ma'am. I mean, it was a really, really like productive and informational, very educational session. And I'm sure everyone who's tuned in will have a lot more things to ask about and would have definitely found this as helpful, maybe even more than I did. So I really appreciate you taking time out and thank you once again. And I hope everyone who's listened has like learned as much as I have. And yeah, I think your biggest takeaway is that you have to register with IPRS and that we're not negotiating that anymore.
Yeah.
So great. But
And
thank you so much, ma'am.
every information is there on the website
Yes. Okay.
www.iprs.org. So as a creator, you can find out what all is there for you in IPRS, how to register everything. Also for a user, all the licensing tabs. Don't go to agents. There, like IPRS deals directly with the music users. So there are agents in the market, but Go directly
Mm.
to IPRS. We have multiple offices, and the entire carrot is there on our website. Just go, just ask us, reach out to us, and we are here to just help you and make your kind of careers and businesses successful. And Sandhya, thank you very much for doing this. It is so much needed, and I'm so glad that you are also into it and you are having the right kind of mindset and approach towards this.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you, everyone, for
Same.
tuning in. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you for the next one.